I think my fairly conservative approach is way more than double the average analyst. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom. This is not financial advice. We are here to talk about all things investing, and today I want to talk to you about a Bitcoin miner, Marathon Digital Holdings, stock ticker MARA. So we can't talk about Marathon without talking about Bitcoin for a minute. As all of you watching probably know, the last 24 hours have been bananas for Bitcoin. This has had a gigantic effect on all of the Bitcoin miners, including Marathon. All these miners have been just beaten down. There's a large short position out there on Marathon, and in addition to that, it's just been low volume and drifting downwards for all the Bitcoin mining stocks for a few months now. So let's take that and look at Marathon. All right, I just want to start by looking at Marathon's current price and market cap, and then we're going to look at their mining results so far this year. So it looks like right now Marathon's up almost 16% on the day today, and it's been that way pretty much all day, 14, 15, 16% up on the day, and that puts it at $28.52. Later we will look at the chart and we will see what that means and where it's come from and where it's going. The market cap currently is $2.85 billion. Let's talk about operations. This was an operations update that Marathon put out just a few weeks ago. January, they mined 50 Bitcoin all the way down to June, which was their best month ever, where they mined 265 Bitcoin. So you can see a dramatic increase just from January to June. So that's over a 5x in number of Bitcoins mined per month. Okay, so we'll talk about the July mining numbers as well as some projections for mining through the rest of this year, 2021 and 2022 later in the video. Right now, I just want to take a quick look at the balance sheet to see how these guys look. Marathon currently holds approximately 5,784 Bitcoin. So they have those Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They bought a bunch of Bitcoin, I think around 4,000 at the beginning of the year. They've basically been saving virtually all of the Bitcoin that they mine. Their plan is to continue to do so. So that's a very strong plan for them. I think they're currently the 5th or 6th largest publicly traded company in holdings of Bitcoin mining, and I think they're going to move up that list. When you look at our projections, I think they could move all the way up to 3rd place on that list, depending on what everybody else does. So that's their Bitcoin mining holdings. In addition to that, as of May 6th, cash was approximately $204 million. So the 5,700, that's like $230 million. This is another $200 million of cash. So this is an extremely liquid company. That's well over $400 million in liquid cash. On the other side of that, their entire liabilities is $2.962 million. They've got over $400 million in liquid assets versus under $3 million in total liabilities. That's current and long-term liabilities. These guys really don't have any long-term debt. So their balance sheet is ultra strong. Let's take a look at what's going on with their miners. So as of the end of June, beginning of July, you'll see Marathon has increased its active mining fleet to approximately 19,395 miners, generating approximately 2.09 exahash per second. I want to take a look at their anticipated delivery chart. They ordered over 100,000 miners in December of 2020. I want to show you, so far they've basically been on track. August is the beginning of a gigantic ramp up. So even though they just 10x'd their exahash per second, their rate of growth in the future is going to be faster than their rate of growth so far this year. August, we're a few days away from August. So this is the first big month. August, they're expecting 7,000 miners. September, they're expecting 8,100 miners. October, 10,500. November, 14,700. Remember, these are all additional miners. Their whole fleet right now is only 19,000 miners. So far, they have maintained this schedule all year. If they can get to the 10.37 exahash, which is installing all the machines they've already ordered last December, they would be mining 76.71 Bitcoin per day. So that's astronomical. This year, they're looking to make $2.22 a share, according to analysts. And they're looking to make $2.89 a share in the year 2022, according to analysts. So estimated revenues for the year, last year they had $4 million in revenue. That is estimated to jump to $248 million of revenue. That's a 5,600% increase in revenue year over year. So you can see the 2020 operations are almost basically totally meaningless. Then in 2022, analysts are estimating $550 million in revenue at $2.89 of income per share at a 30 PE ratio. That would put them at like $85 a share. They're currently at $28.59 a share as I speak right now. Now, let's take a look at the numbers I put together and see how they compare. This is what I see this company doing this year. So in June, they mined 265 Bitcoin. That was their all-time record. And we know that at that point, they told us they had 19,395 active machines operating at 2.09 exahash. So I'm estimating 400 in July. So what I've tried to do is a couple of things. As I forecast the rest of the numbers for this year, I've adjusted for the increase in the number of machines that they have, which increases their hash rate and their mining rate. But I've also put in a factor to assume that the worldwide hash rate is going to continue to creep up. It dropped down to, a very low number near 90. It's still under 100. As all of the North American miners in particular have big orders coming in, I'm expecting the hash rate to continue to go up over the course of the next year. So those are two balancing forces, and that's what I've done in my assumptions of Bitcoin's mined. So to just quickly run through, you'll see by December, I'm estimating they mined 1,498 Bitcoin just in the month of December. Now, since they hold the vast majority of their Bitcoin, they told us they had 5,784 Bitcoin at June 30th. That would put them at 10,824 Bitcoin by the end of the year. So you can see they're massively building up their Bitcoin. The other thing is, because they hold their Bitcoin, it really doesn't matter what the price is the day that they mine the Bitcoin. What matters is the electricity cost based on the difficulty level of mining. So that number is accurate. That's an expense they incur. However, if they hold the Bitcoin, they continue to appreciate in value over time, assuming you're bullish on Bitcoin and assuming you think Bitcoin is going to have some reasonable gains over the next year or two. I will tell you, my assumptions in the model that I'm going to show you right here assumes Bitcoin averaging throughout the year 2022, it gets up to an average of $60,000 per Bitcoin. So that is fairly modest since we were at $64,000 just a few months ago. I assume a lower rate in 2021. So let's take a look at 2022 real quickly. Estimated 2022 Bitcoins mined, 19,528. So I used the same theory for the 12 months of 2022 as I did for the last 6 months of 2021. They are assuming 76.71 Bitcoins mined per day. I am assuming on the average in 2022, they mined 53.5 Bitcoin per day. At an average Bitcoin price of $60,000, that would be total estimated revenue in 2022 of $1.171 billion. Their gross profit we showed was, over 90%. So if I subtract gross profit and overhead and expenses, and I assume they net 60%, they're doing better than that right now. So again, this is a very conservative estimate. That would be estimated income from operations of $702 million in 2022. Their shares outstanding are 99,480,000, so that would be an estimated earnings per share of $7.70. I assumed a lower level of profitability than they've been experiencing in the past by taking 60%. And, Bitcoin at an average of $60,000, you guys can decide how reasonable you think that is. So if we take those, that is $7.07. The average analyst had $2.89. As an aside, please remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. I think my fairly conservative approach is way more than double the average analyst. So let's take a quick look at the chart and see what that means. I drew two yellow lines. I'm not going to get too technical with this. Bitcoin was trading up and down inside this trading range, and then basically on June 9th, it kind of broke out of it to the downside. So we know that today Bitcoin just had a gigantic jump. So Marathon is up 15 or 16%, and that's this right here. So what I'm looking at is it's about to break back into the trading range that it was in. There's really not much resistance all the way up to $40. So we're up 15% today. You may feel like you missed it, but if you look at the chart, it looks to me like as long as Bitcoin proceeds, there's lots of short-term upside to Marathon's stock. Past that, if we look at next year's numbers, you're looking at potentially $7 a share. Even at a PE ratio of 20, I'm looking at a potential target price in the next 12 to 18 months of possibly $140. Those are my thoughts. This is not financial advice. There's a lot of estimates I put into that. Please, everybody remember, Bitcoin is a very, very volatile asset. And as a function of that, Marathon trades extremely volatilely as well. So thank you for joining us in this video, and we will see you in the next one.